Steve, I think we're done. We can start this evening's meeting. And thank you all for joining. Thank you, Steve, for creating this idea of this conversation. Thank you, Ankush, for proposing this conversation. And thank you all for accepting my invitation. And the only person who I didn't invite was Steve Hardison. And so he requested me just 5 minutes ago to allow him, let him into the meeting. And he said that he's going to be a good boy. So I trusted him.
If you let me in, I'll be good.
So I trusted him and I let him in. And Bob, thank you so much for being with us. And India loves you. And Steve and I were just having a small conversation before this, and as he repeatedly has been trying to help us understand that this event is not about an event, and it's about an experience of our own being, and it's about not somebody's being, it's about the being of the person who's in the seat. And it's about you, it's about me. On the other side, it's about Steve, it's about Bob, and it's about everybody involved in every form. And there were two options Steve gave me, that, Ranjan, would you have an agenda, your team, or would you want me to lead the conversation? And now I know each minute that Steve is available, I know I don't want to, I remember the midnight miracle, and I know I'm using only two words: yes, Steve, yes, Steve, yes, Steve. So I know miracles are created in the presence of Steve when you just shut your mouth and say yes, Steve. And I love that experience. And I wanted to have this another miracle for every one of us. And I said, Steve, I chose the first option, and I would want you to lead the conversation in any form and help us be more of who we truly are and who we are. So I still am with the same thing that I proposed. So Steve, it's all yours. Yes, Steve.
I'll take it. Thank you. First of all, thank you for being here. And I know you've got lives going on at different times at different places. You may have things happen right in your room, or you've got kids, or spouses, or whatever. So I appreciate you being here. My promise to you is that we'll take 60 minutes, and if there's somebody, and everybody can leave at 60 minutes or whenever they need to. But if we're in a conversation, I'm in with somebody and it's useful, I'll stay here till my client, Bob Hurd, has an appointment this morning. He came. I invited him to be part of it. We will start when we're through. We will take our two-hour session. He's from Texas. He thinks he's a client, but I say he's my bodyguard. Look at that good-looking dude. He'd just roll you if you get near me. I love you. So I want to set your listening so you can listen from a lot of different ways today. Like, oh, that's Steve. I know what he's going to say. Or, oh, that sounds like this. I heard that before. Or, when's he going to get to the point? I don't have a point. I come from a point. I'm never going anywhere. I'm coming from someplace. So you're going to be, don't try to figure me out. The intention of this call is about you, literally you. If I could do this one-on-one, I'd have this conversation with each single person. Our life is being produced by the ideas in our head. This event that we're going to have isn't the deal. The event is a process to see who we can be while we're putting this event together. This is training for all of us in beingness. The event isn't so I can speak. It isn't even so a book can be gotten. A book is a tool, and the event's a tool. The purpose of it is someone understanding that they can master their state of being, that they're the one choosing it. So I'm speaking to you, not who's going to come to the course, and we want people to come to the course in the same way. I'm speaking to you about really taking, and I could take an hour to acknowledge people on this. It'd be so easy. I could Who are you being today in this space? Who are you going to be in an hour? That's what this whole event is about. And when we get that, then we're not enrolling someone to come to a course about, and we need a hotel and we need speakers, but it's not about the hotel or the speakers. It's about that person getting access to their being. So I'm going to take just a short bit of time to create something. And if you've heard it, listen to it and give it new muscle, because it's not the same thing. Because if you heard me say this before, you should be different than the last time we talked. Can you hear that? I've had a client said to me, I've been with you 10 years. I've told you that story 7 different times. You act like you didn't hear it. I said, I didn't. That other guy heard it. By the time he and I are done today, I won't be the same person I was. I have a conversation with a stranger. If there isn't something out of who I'm being, what's just a static thing? This is us. So here is the very short version so that you have your own from my lips to your ear, why there's even any of this. Since I was a little kid, I've been fascinated why people behave. Behavior. Why they behave. They're being a behavior. Why is some guy nice? Why is some gal not nice? Why is some guy mean? Why is some gal beautifully wonderful? Why? And I sit in questions. Why? Why is it like this? And so everything that I do comes from being. I say to clients, thank you for listening from where you're at. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I say to clients, I like to know my clients' names. This is Bob Hurd. I'm glad I know his name. I know what Bob does for a living. Can you hear that? I know his name. I know what he does for a living. I don't need to know either of those. I just need to be with his being that's creating everything. His name was assigned to him, and what he does grows out of who he's being. Give me a human being with, they don't tell me their name and they don't tell me what they do, and we get together and we'll have magic. Being is everything. It's not like some cute little statement of like slogan. This is really something. And different people that are listening have experienced different levels of their own state of being. And you know how you can tell how they've experienced it? Because it looks like this is a possibility, not the truth. I don't have the truth. Okay, let me back up. Becky Robbins, I love and appreciate everything you've been doing. The interviews you've done for this event in India, the way you've had communication with people on who they're being. I'm grateful for who you're being. You're a master at noticing your being. You're someone who could be really, really angry at someone in the past, and you're not. You've decided to love everything in your world and bless people. Judy, the way in which you do things, I am so honored to even know you and to see what happened. I remember sitting in the living room that night. You said, I'm the one who should be running this. I am the leader. And that you came from, you're extraordinary. And thanks for all the stuff you did to even make this possible. That's a piece of you. Saloni, thank you, thank you, thank you for your interviews, for what you do. It's amazingly beautiful. Can you hear me? I could go through each one of you. Cordelia, thank you for what you did on the interview with Fari. It was crazy good. Angie, the interviews I've heard of you, I called you up. What you're doing is amazing. And the way you're doing that, Angie, is because out of who you're being. You found access to your being. There's power. No one has more power than another person. We have equal amount of opportunity of being. It's just, what are we choosing to be? Ranjan, thank you for when I called on the Midnight Miracle and how you listened and how you implemented it. And I had a little sign up here when I wasn't sitting here. It says, we should just be a little kinder than's necessary. Yes, and kindness doesn't always look like kumbaya, my Lord. Sometimes kindness, I put somebody's head through the wall and I'm being very kind. I'm waking them up. So, Mike, thanks for what you've done. All of you. I could go with Mike for an hour. Can you all get it? Do you know I'm acknowledging you? Okay, now listen as a possibility. I do not have any truth. And I'm also not lying to you. It's simply possible. My experience of exploring myself and other people, and I've had thousands of conversations. Now, I'm not the it of conversations, but that's the ones I've had. And in it, what I've discovered is that thoughts come. Some thoughts can pop into my mind. Other thoughts I can create. But it's not like I have no choice on it. Like, say I have a thought that comes over like a cloud, and I don't want that thought. I just notice it. I don't attach to it. And I'll give you an example of one of those. Amy and I, this might be really kind of intimate. Amy and I just got together one day. It was lovely being with her. I love being with her. When I say get together, that means we had sex, for those of you who might not know that. And then I go to the gym. I love my wife dearly. This like 17-year-old chick walks by and my mind goes someplace. I don't want that thought. Where'd that come from? See, I don't have to attach to that. But if I attach to that, I'm going to be mischievous and have a problem. That's a thought I call a passive thought. Could pop in, goes my past, some judgment I got. That's a thought. But there's thoughts I can create. I am the universe. I can create that thought. I can create thoughts. So thoughts can pop in. You ever had a thought pop in? Man, have you ever been somewhere having a thought, think, man, I'm glad no one knows I haven't that thought. They think I'm weird. If you don't shake your head up, you're freaking liar. How do they say that in India? Liar? Can you hear me? So you have these options of what is going to come. So I'm saying, as a possibility, that those thoughts, when attached to, they can become a thing. If I say to myself long enough, I'm just no good, guess who I become after a while? I'm just no good. And it doesn't matter if somebody tells me I'm good, because I believe this machine. So as a possibility, thoughts create things, and that's our state of being. Watch this. If I'm thinking I'm no good, after a while, that idea of being is the seed that's running me. So if I'm no good, what kind of doing will I do no matter what I do? No good doing to me, and it could even be a good thing. So being is the possibility that anything I'm ever going to do comes out of my being. So all I take time in my life on is manage who I'm being. There's too many limbs on doing. Come back to being. So as I've worked with people, like I say, I know their name and I know what they do for a living, because both of those get better. They like themselves more, whatever their name is, and they become more productive, not just at work, in their relationships. Being is central. When I'm being, I get to choose in front of me. Do I want to be asleep? Do I want to be awake? Do I want to be conscious? Do I want to be kind? Do I want to be a jerk? Do I want to be resentful? We literally get to choose all that. So if I'm in this state of being, and then I can choose, and if I know that my state of being is the seed, and when I choose that being, that's the kind of doing I'm going to do. So if I'm being loving, what kind of doing will I be doing? Can you all say loving? So I know you're there.
Loving.
And if I'm being
Loving.
Loving.
thank you. If I'm being a total a-hole, what kind of doing am I going to do?
A-hole doing.
A-hole doing.
Now just play with that. And now watch this. So as a possibility, and I thank Judy Thurison for this, as a possibility, not the truth, the ultimate experience of life is being. That's the ultimate experience. I can walk out and go across and love my neighbor or hate my neighbor. I can go cut the yard, or I can pee on the front yard. Can you hear that? So that is the ultimate experience, is being. And as a possibility, the highest remnant of that being that can be selected, because I'm sitting in a chair and I can select be shy, be kind, be obnoxious, be loving, or how I'm being right now, and I'm being giving. I am giving my soul right now. That is where I'm coming from. I'm okay if at the end of this I just die. It would be such a great way to die, giving everything that I have, all ounce of my energy to this. What a way to go. So I get to choose that. Somebody else today will choose. I'm not going to say that I look like I made a mistake. I'm not going to be kind. I'm not going to smile at that guy. He'll think I'm coming on him. Come on, you get to choose it. You get to choose it. So in that state of being, the highest, in my opinion, the highest state of that choice is love. So the ultimate experience is being itself, because I get to be a criminal. I get to be this or that. I get to be that. That's an experience. I get to choose it. Then here they come, the experiences. I get to say, oh, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be loving. Oh, I'm not going to be so kind now. Oh, I'm going to be really gracious. I'm going to be forgiving. And then all of a sudden, I be loving. And I say, that is, out of all of them you can choose, that's up here. It is the ultimate state of being. Now, I make this up, and I just made this up the other day. And I'm not saying it's not real. It's just not true. Somebody else could make up something else. Somebody asked me, how are you so loving all the time? And I said, because I'm choosing it. I'm choosing it. I'm not seeking to be loved. I'm creating love. Everywhere I go, I'm creating it. I'm creating love. I'm creating love. I'm creating love. And therefore, when I'm creating love, I'm always in what?
Love.
I'm always in love. What's there to seek? What am I seeking? I got plenty of it. So then someone said to me, you're always in love. Asked me some questions. And I said, here's what just came to my mind. How you know you have chosen the highest state of being is that what comes out of this thing called love is pure service. Falls out. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to think about it. You just love. Mm-hmm. And you know what to do at any time. And that's the possibility of being. That is the possibility of being. So someone gets to see, and if we had time and each person could share their own experience of where they've grown in being, you'd be able to see it like a gauge. You'd be able to see it. I can take every client I have, line them up, the shortest one, the Olympic athlete, the tallest one, the professional basketball player, and I could line every client up by height. I could line every client up by how much money they have from here to billionaire. I could line them up by IQ. Guess what else I could line them up by?
Being.
Easy. Just look at what service they're doing. That's it. It's simple. And I'm not talking service to be seen. I mean, if somebody followed me during the day, they say, this guy is insane loving these people like this. It's like, I don't have to think about it. It's not a burden. It's just life. And I'm not trying to go find it. It's not listed. I don't have a to-do list. I have a to-be list. Who am I going to be? So thank you for hearing that from that place. As I coached people, I say the reason whoever I'm with, and I got results is because we went to the state of being. And I only work in distinctions of state of being. Steve Chandler, 30 years, bring everything back inside his body and his mind. Somebody comes in, has a complaint about their spouse, go back, I bring it to them. Plate Mass says to me, hey, what about my 7 C-level executives? Would you do me a favor? Go over to that top drawer and bring me some of those lozenges. Thanks. It's on the top right-hand side. And he said, you know, what I really need is I need my seven C-level executives with us. I said, you got them with you. He said, where? I said, in your head. If I had them in here in reality, it wouldn't matter because the one in your head and the one sitting in front of me, man. Who we're being creates everything. Who we're being creates the people that work for us. Or we'd like it to be different because then we could keep on with our bullshit, complaining and gossiping and all that other stuff. That's like, what a waste of humanity. I'm being aggravated. I'm being unkind. I'm being resentful. I'm being cheap. I'm being a gossip. You know how I gossip? I find out what Cordelia did, and I make sure people know the great stuff she did. Then I find out what somebody else did. I make sure somebody else knows that. That's how I gossip. That's how I gossip. I'm a manipulator. You know how I manipulate? I get good information, I give it to somebody else so they can grow from it. I don't complain, I don't gossip, because I'm not going to be a complaint, or I'm not going to be a gossiper. If I'm being a seed of complaint, what will I be doing?
Complaining.
Complaining. This is not rocket science. Can you hear me? You want to alter the world, alter your state of being. You want to alter the way this event goes, alter your state of being when you're talking to somebody about it. Guess who this event is about? The person you're talking to. Okay? I'll be speaking, and that has nothing to do with me except what I'm learning about being. Me, when I go in, I committed to reread the book twice before the event so I could see what I could learn before I go over there and listen to this guy. That's one of them is me. Can you hear that? So as I'm coaching people, Alan Thompson comes over in 2013. Listen to this like you never heard it. He coaches savants, gifted children, prodigies, amazing people. So he's with me and he thinks this guy's a nut in a nice way. So he says he wanted to write about me. 2013, I said, I'm not writing a book. This is my book. I'm living my book. I don't need something written about me that's not me. This is my book. I will never write a book. Well, 8 years later, he says God nudged him to write a biography on me. And I said, my wife and I will talk you down. Give us a few hours. I don't need a biographer. Short version. Stuff's going to be left out of this so we can get to a point of what I'm trying to say. Are you okay with that? So if I leave something out you think you heard, or this is it, or I got the date upside down, so what? That can't change anything. Sun's going to come up tomorrow and it's going to set. He said, God nudged me to write a biography on your life. And Amy and I did the best we could to talk about it in 3 hours. He didn't. I said, I don't need to pay for a biographer. I don't need anybody to know I exist. All I need is people to understand who they're being. He promised me the level of work that he would do, there would be somehow that book would finally get to where it was about being. He does 622 pages. As a service. Any idea where Alan was operating from?
Love.
Love.
Of love.
Yeah. Love. It's amazing. It's amazing. Not in one time of anything did Alan ask me for anything. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just saying he literally, his was a gift. God's going to write this and give it to you, Steve. So he sent 622 pages of what it was originally called the Angel of Fire. I don't know where you get that idea, but it's good.
It's accurate.
Yeah, he's accurate, man.
True.
That guy's right on. You think he was an AI guy. So the book comes over. When I'm talking to Alan, the first time I'm speaking with him about, yes, do it. He said, I know your wife writes, she's an editor. She can participate. I said, dude, my wife's writing a book on the life of Christ. She likes me, but not that much. So I said, don't count on her. He sends the book over, 622 pages. I got the original book, priceless to me. And she looks at the book and she says, this is going to need a narrative. She starts working with it, thinks she can do something in 6 weeks. 18 months later, 6 or 8 hours a day, literally 6 days a week. I'd wake up sometimes at 3 a.m. She's in the office working on the book. So when I read the manuscript, which I read many times, I said, this doesn't have it. And the book's done. And I made it an issue of prayer and meditation. And I received, my body's lifted up and wrote the back cover and the front 2 pages of that book. Not me, my body wrote that. And the people who had put the book together, my wife, Alan Thompson, and Chris Nelson, the editor, like, who's this crazy guy? You can't put that on the back of the book. And Amy said, you can't put 2 new pages in the front of the book. There's already an introduction and there's already a foreword. I said, we don't have to, but this book won't ever go out. Now, I want you to know that some people just hand that book to somebody. I want you to know, you want somebody to have some access to their being? Do something like, and do it your way. Don't do it my way. You could be quiet, you could write a letter. But if you don't get the people into the book to get them into their being, you're not doing them any service sticking them in our room. They'll begin judging the color of the carpet. And do they like the bald guy? And why am I sitting by her? And we will have produced that. You get them into their state of being, have them look at their being. It would be like having Judy and Becky and all of that. And we can do that ahead of time by being committed. I would much rather be enrolling someone in the book of being entitled The Ultimate Coach for their life. And they say, I'm not interested in reading. And that's nothing to me. I'd keep my book and give it to someone else. I mean, if you're going to have a football player, whoever the best Indian cricket players or the best Indian football players, and you're going to invite somebody to come, don't you think it would be good if they like cricket or football? They'll stick them in there. They're not going to, who cares if you can bend a soccer ball? If you don't play soccer, because we're in the being business. Guess who the first beings, our most important being to take care of?
All right.
Myself.
You. So who am I being when I'm asking somebody to read this book? Am I being like pesky, bothering them, trying to sell something? Good luck. So however you're doing it, and you're doing fabulous, but I want it to be, so this is where we take everything that we do. See, there's probably 2 people that each of you know that could have been on this call. They should understand what we're up to. Anybody who's touching anything that we're doing ought to understand this. As somebody that's going to run a camera ought to read the book. Somebody who's going to supply juice for us ought to read the book. Somebody who's going to, can you hear that? It's like, here's how you know that the book of being is a possible idea for someone. You're wearing skin. So if they're wearing skin, they're in. Can you hear that? That's a possibility. So anybody out there who thinks, oh, I got to get a coach in here, I got to get this in here. I don't care if there's another coach on the planet. I don't coach people to be coaches. I coach people to be great at what they're going to be, and then they go coach. I have more people that are not coaches by a ton than are coaches. So anybody who thinks this is a coaching thing is like, pull your head out. It's a being thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get this? Now, if you know somebody that doesn't have a being, don't invite them. So who's our audience?
Everyone.
Everyone. Can you hear that? And it's like, oh, I don't care if there are 12 people there, I'm going to be there. And if we actually started being, your hotel would explode. You'd have a problem. And guess who we look directly to, the responsibility and why that caused that beautiful transformation. It's out of who you're being, every interaction. Who I'm being right now will produce someone coming to me 2 years from now. I got up the other morning and a gentleman writes me an email and he says, hey, I'm proposing we do a BWA session. I don't even know the guy. And then he says, oh, maybe we should do a 10 hours chocolate chip cookie. Oh, something's been pulling me to Phoenix. I don't know why. We want to move to Lexington, Kentucky. But then I run into your book. I read your book. I'm an orthopedic surgeon who I don't know, haven't seen, never spoken to. And he says, something's pulled me to that. Then I read your book and I realize what it is. So I just kind of did a little thing with my wife and said, it's all in an email. These are not unusual. I just spoke to my wife and I just kind of ran it by her. Hey, what do you think we go to Arizona? She says, yeah. Well, what's he's going to do? I'm already committed to work with him. At 24, he's doing a chocolate chip cookie distinction, already transferred money for me. I've never seen him. That happened because who I was being in 2017, 2018, 2019, 3 weeks ago. There's no not connectedness. When I be some way, it pushes out into the world that energy. If it's this energy, it pushes it out. That's what comes back to me. If it's this energy, it pushes it out. That's what comes back to me. You mastering your state of being to be at a place, and it doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. I make mistakes every day. Let's see, she's not here, right? A client, I think that I've got a different client. I go out, I got the wrong flag out. I say, I think you're here the wrong day. She says, I don't think so. I went and checked it. I came back and said, you are so right. I'm in so error. I go up, I pull her flag down, put a new flag, take the old flag down, put her flag up, and I begin coaching her. And she says, how did you do that? I would be so beside myself if I made a mistake like that. I said, I just forgive myself and go on. Why are you brutalizing? Who are you going to be? Brutal to you? Are you going to be a taskmaster to you? Who are you going to be hateful to you? Well, you do it to you, you're going to do it to me. We upgrade your being. As great as it is, we upgrade this event and everything that goes around it. Simply by looking at who you're being. So enrolling someone is not about getting someone to come to a place and put their butt in a seat. And we want people to come to a place and put their butt in a seat because we want to be able to take all the funds and give them to whatever cause you have. If it's the young women that are being prostituted or sex slaves or whatever it is, we want all the money to go there. I'm not coming to make money. I'm not coming to sell books. We've given you the right to print books over there for whatever period of time, a certain amount. I'm not making any money from the book anywhere, and any money that would come through it is going back to put it back into the books. I'm interested in state of being. So I'm inviting you to all look at who you're being with you. Who are you being with your spouse? Who are you being with members of this team? Who are you being with a stranger? Who are you being when you're in your own mind? Because every little bit we bump up, it attracts people that will be interested in being. So I'm driving down the street. Thank you for listening. However you're doing it's perfect. This is not do it like me. No, that would be bad. Do it like you. Be you. Be you. Be gracious, be sharing, and the doing will pop up. You won't have to figure it out. It'll be better than anything I could say for you to do. But stuff like this will happen. I'm driving down the street, going to a doctor's appointment. An African-American man's in a truck next to me. He kind of signals for me to roll down the window. So I roll down the window. He's in an old truck and he says, how do I get from here, pointing to his old truck, to there, pointing at my little shiny car? And I said, you're genuine? You want to know that? It says talking through a window of a total stranger. He said, yeah. I says, I'm going to a doctor's appointment, pull in front of me, and then turn right. And then let me take the first left and then follow me in because it's kind of crazy. And he follows me to my doctor's office. I don't know him from anyone. He gets out. I said, my wife just finished writing a book. It has the answer to the question, how to get from here to there. So it doesn't matter. I can create that any way I want. And I said, so she has written a book, how to get from here to there. That question you asked me. I said, guess who the book's about? He said, I don't know. I said, it's about you. Then I take the book. I get it out of the front of my car. I have a couple of these in the front of my car. And I don't even care if anybody knows me because this guy has no idea who I am. Just some dude driving around in a little black car. So I say, here, read this back page. I don't know him. And I already love him. I'm not trying to get him a buck. I'm helping him. He wants to know how to get from there to here. Anybody wants to get from there to here? I'm a master at getting people from there to here. You go in. They're the only one who can get them from there to here. So I have him read this in the parking lot. And when he gets down to it, and I know he's just about to read this, do not read this book about me. Read this book about you. And I stopped him. I said, who are you to read it about? He said, me. I said, yeah. He reads through the rest of it. Guess what I have him do next?
Open the front cover.
I have him go to the front 2 pages. I read it in the parking lot with him. He says, how in the world am I ever going to pay you back? I said, do you really want to? He said, yes. I said, here's what you do. Can you get it? It's not some like polished thing. It's like, who are you being to help another human being? Get your steps out of the way. Just love somebody. You'll have stuff come through your mouth. You thought, where did that come from? If I plant a apple, I'm going to get an apple tree. If I plant, I'm going to love and serve people. Man, the doing will come out and be so beautiful. You'll even back up and sit down and go, wow, you were really good at that. And you'll be talking to you. So he says, how can I pay you back? And I said, do you really want to? He says, yes. I said, here's what you can do. Now watch this. I bring everything back to the person, everything back to being, everything back to the book, but only always. Read this book about you. I already told him that. Read those back questions. Read those front questions. And then if you read 3 chapters of that book and you go away, go swimming or whatever, and come back, or the next day, read the back cover, read the front 2 pages, and read the book about you. And if you do, here's what I promise you. And I can promise this to anybody who does that. You will experience a you never knew before, because you're going to be introduced to yourself. Now, you let somebody know that, they're going to eat that book and consume it. And if they go through it more than once or twice, they should be different every time they do it. I will reread the book twice before the event. So he looks at me and he says, that's amazing. I said, yeah, that's what you can do for me. And there's one other thing you can do for me. What's that? Done. And he says, done. It's amazing. People say, how do you get that done? It's like, I'm not selling anything. I'm freaking giving state of being for somebody as a possibility. I said, I want you to remember this event. I want you to remember that you kind of honked at me and had me roll down my window, that you told me you wanted to get from here to there. And I told you to follow me. We came in the parking lot. You read this and you read that. Because you are going to speak on a stage one day and share this story, because it's going to alter your life.
Wow, I just got chills.
So watch this. We are not enrolling someone to come to a course. We are not enrolling someone to read a book. We are enrolling someone in the possibility of their own life. You get someone enrolled in the possibility of their own life, they get their state of being, choose love, you'll have service everywhere. Start with you. So if you think I'm sending you books or doing something so you move books, you're nuts. And the only person I'm really concerned with is the one sitting right there in Pooja's chair and Ben's chair. And where I'm at, who are you being? Who are you guys being? Who are you being, Ben, when you talk to somebody? Ranjan, let's see, where did you go on the screen? I don't see.
I'm here.
Ranjan, oh, there we go. Who are you being? Who are you being on this call? Who are you being here? And people think, well, then I can't be really who I am. Yeah, you can. You're being obnoxious. Why can you be that and not loving? Why can you choose that and think this is the right thing to do right now? I'll be untrusting. Well, I can't trust those people. They're like that. Okay. I could tell you story after story of people that were not trustworthy, and I created trust with them by loving them. Can you hear that? So,
Yes.
now I want you to know that the work you're all doing is extraordinary. I'm going to give you some examples of what this and include yourself in this. Don't exclude you. I just may not know your story, but get it as you. I look at Ranjan and what he's doing. He's got his father he's taking care of. And I know everybody else has kids. I'm not saying he's doing something you're not. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to you. Acknowledge where you're at. He's doing so much to get this done. He and I have had conversations that are 1 o'clock in the morning for him, 2 o'clock in the morning. He's doing stuff that's just crazy good. And to the degree of what he hears today, his being will shift, and that crazy good will get easier. More will get done than ever got done before out of who he's being. I look at little Gabby at the bottom of the screen. She reads the book of being as it was intended to be read. In fact, she can enroll people. People watch her. Oh, she's doing it here and here. She's just loving people into a book about themselves. And please don't talk about a book being about me. talk to people. Hey, this guy's wife wrote a book about you. Because that's the reality of it. I don't need a book about me. So Gabby, she reads the book, back cover, front 2 pages, sends me a 15-minute video. I don't know her from anyone in the world. It was the most touching, loving thing. I mean, anybody who would receive it would be melted to think, how could someone feel that way about me from reading a book? She comes to my home. She's with her husband. She throws herself on me and hugs me, says stuff to me that would melt anybody, what she said I was for her. And I held her and I said, Gabby, that's you. That's what you see. And thanks for putting it on me. And thanks for reading it. She gets 30 bucks. She plants 30 different books doing the same thing with people, has mind-blowing experiences. Then one day I'm walking down the street and she calls and says, I want to do something really big like Alan Thompson. You know, look at Alan, the level of service he did. He's not better than anyone. He just serves and he's just serving. I want to do something like that, or like Eric Lawful. Eric just says he'll take on the Facebook group, makes a 20-year commitment. Amazing stuff. He's impacted some of your lives. Gabby says, I want to do something. I said, now, do you write Spanish? She said, yes. I said, this is in January. So listen, a year ago. Listen like you have not heard this. Listen to this from you shift your state of being. You know who wins? You do. You know, you shift your state of being. Guess who? Your spouse does. You shift your state of being. Your kids do. Everybody wins from you shifting you. Forget about them. Go with you. In January, I said, Amy and I are going to be in Peru in October. How about if you translate the book and have it done in Spanish by the time I get there? See, I'm not afraid to ask people for stuff. You know why? Because I'd do anything for anybody. That's no big deal. I've done the equivalent of that every day of my life. Not, oh, I'm cool. It's like, I can, you want to see what gets in your way of requests? Is you stay away from anybody requesting stuff from you. Protect yourself, do whatever you need to do. Man, you can decide what I'm going to really do is I'm going to really play life full out. Start with my own place. So we get down there. That book's done in Spanish. It's getting finished in Quechua. She has started a Spanish Facebook group, doing videos. And again, listen, you're all doing stuff like this. I can't stop, but I want you to see that's what it looks like. I watched Angie do an interview. Let's see, where's Angie? Looks like Angie may be, oh, there she is. I listened to her do 2 interviews and I called her. Not 2 different ones. I listened to the same one twice and then listened to more. To listen to her, what she did, she understands that what beingness is. So this event's about being. Who am I being? The people that are already enrolled, if they don't have a book and haven't read it, we've done them a disservice. The people that we're about to enroll, you just be so, give me a list of 40 people. I'll call them up and I won't know them. I can't speak very good Indian, even because I can't do that accent that you guys do with the American accents. It's so cute. I love the way you guys speak. It's so beautiful. Did you hear that? I love the Indian accent speaking English. So I don't have that, but I could call up total strangers. You give me the list. You have to tell. I won't say I have anything to do with the book, and I'll just ask them if you could read something that would alter who you're being for yourself and your wife and your family, and you could have a miracle in reading it. Would you be interested if I told you about it? I'd go 40 for 40. You know why? They would feel it. They would feel my being. They would feel my interest. Who are you being when you're enrolling someone in this? Who are you being? I'm not accusing anybody. Are you being, this is my thing, it's my territory, I should be cool, I did the most, and good luck. What a wretched way to go. Get out of that place and like serve people. This thing will go nuts. And then it will be a miracle in Mumbai that will be amplified around the world. And it will have started with you. And the 2 or 3 people that you know would have been good to hear this idea. And it isn't just, oh, those that are in India. There are people, I've got a client that is bringing 15 to 35 people to India. And the capstone is the event. I've got other clients that are coming themselves, that are speaking or doing whatever. That's not I'm cool. It's that I make requests. Do you know the artist that just did Kush's picture? Terry? I'm on a phone conversation with her. I enroll her in reading the book. She communicates after she's read it and listened to it. And she says, this is so great. And because she's had that experience, I said, I can't wait to see you in Mumbai. She said, I didn't even think about going to Mumbai. I said, well, now you can. And then she told me that there's somebody over in India that wanted her to come. It didn't work out. Recreate that. Then she calls me up 2 days later and says, hey, if I sell a piece of art, I'll be in Mumbai. I said, can I work with you? She said, what do you mean? I said, when you sell a piece of art. And if you came from that place, you could sell 2 before you went to Mumbai. So it isn't like, oh, she read a book, make her, that she's going to be, that's who you want in the course. Someone who dropped their world, read the book, listened to the book twice. And it's like, you put those people in a room, you wait. It'll be such an experience that if we could sit there and do nothing, literally sit there and do nothing, just be together. Now, take the difference of that and watch if we, I don't mean this mean to anyone, say that there's somebody that thinks they're special. And I don't mean like we all are special, but they're like, I'm specialer than you. And they're in the room and they don't read the book. It's a mess. If they're not committed in the room, and I, you guys are running how you want. I don't have free tickets. I didn't put anybody free into the Arizona one. If I put somebody in, I paid for it. I said, bill me, because it's not free, because otherwise we take the money from somebody. So if you guys got free money, send it to me, because I got people I can help. But I put somebody in that room and they're not committed to pay for it. I'm coming to India. It's not next door to me. As far as I know, I'm paying for my flight, and I'm okay to do that. As far as I know, all the books between here and India, I'm going to be handing them to people, not like passing them out. Nobody gets this book unless they're committed to read it, and I'll take it right back out, snatch it out of their hands. And I'm already paid. I think I was the first one. I paid $500 a seat. Man, I want to be there. Now, look, I think I'm going over there. I think I'm taking my wife. I've got clients that are bringing 35 people. I got other clients that are speaking. I couldn't wait to pay. You know why? It's $1,000 going to a great organization.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine as I'm enrolling someone, I talk about what we're doing with the fees. It's like this is a gift, but gift. Especially for the person. I can promise you this. Kush, right there, watch Kush. He won't be the same person at the end of this call or tomorrow, because he will be enrolling people in the possibility of their being. To the degree we do that, that's that level of being. It's a mountain with no top. It's not like competition. It's just amazing having a being that says, I'm not afraid to talk to someone. That's a fun state of being that doesn't come for free. It comes from being someone who's not afraid to talk to someone. That can be invented. Just the same way I am afraid to talk to people is invented. So I invite you to look around as you enroll people, as you invite people, but you look at yourself first. Anyone in the sound of my voice that listens to this now or in the future, and Ranjan, you can do what you want with this, warn them so they don't get freaked out. This guy gets a little going away. And the most important thing you can do is understand your own being and get the power of the being. Second thing you can do in this little world that we're in, we have a tool that can help you. It's this book called The Book of Being, entitled The Ultimate Coach. And for those who really immerse themselves in that, we'd like to have you be at Mumbai with us, because we think it's going to be a real celebration of being. That's what we're up to. And we're donating the money to this cause. And then this course should be about you, just like it is them. Everything leading up to it, every interview, every this or that. Who am I being? There was a gentleman that Becky was interviewed by, and he, you guys okay? Put me a thumbs up if you're okay. If you're going to fall asleep, just put your head down so I know you're napping. So he calls me up. I don't know him from anybody. And he had interviewed Becky, and then I acknowledged him on what he'd done. And then he wrote and said, "Hey, can I get an interview with you?" So I called him immediately. See, I don't go around trying to get interviews. That's not my world. And I could do a damn good interview. I could make money doing an interview. I could charge for podcasts. I could go speak and make millions of dollars. So what? So he calls me up, and I said, "First of all, let me ask you a question. You did that interview. Do you have the book?" I helped him make sure he got a book and knew how to read the damn book. Guess what I said to him? Back cover, front cover, all the way through. Then I said, if you have a really, really great experience through that, and then you get TBOLITNFL and listen to it about you, not me, and you have a really, really phenomenal experience with those two things, you call me back. And that doesn't mean I'm promising you an interview. That means you'd now be ready to talk to me about who the hell I am and what you're going to do on that interview. And that's no promise that I'm going to be on your interview. And then I thought I would just wrap it up just one bit. So I said, and what I'd like you to do is get such a conviction of that you share this book with 5 people and they be at the event in India. The conversation took 8 minutes. My wife said, "That's amazing." I said, "Thank you. Thank you. I am being amazing, amazingly loving someone. I don't care if I ever get interviewed. I care that guy gets who he's being. I hope he gets 5 books to someplace, and all of them are in the event. So if I die in a plane wreck over the way, they're like, that's the best thing that guy ever did." Can you hear that?
Yes.
Multiply that by all of us. Get rid of the petty shit. Anywhere, with anyone. And when you make a mistake, clean it up. Now, you've been really great. I probably scratched the surface of what I want to say, but maybe we should let you up for air. And if anyone wants to say something or have a question, we're at our hour, and I am game to let anyone go who wants to go, and I'm game to answer a question or do whatever. I am being available. With the permission of my great client, Bob Hurd. And he's been over here doing some stuff. He's got his money worth today, whether we get into a session or not. That's what he brought to it. Ranjan, is there anything you want to do, or does anyone want to say anything? Because I'm real open. Or, hey, Steve, that's good, but what about this? Or, wow, dude, you think you're cool, don't you?
I want to say thank you, Steve. That was incredible. And
Let me see who's talking. Okay, is that Kush?
yeah, it's me. Hello. And yeah, that was amazing. Like you're so right. You said, state of being is different from the end of the conversation to start. Like that I've just seen a bigger opportunity in enrolling people for India and it's like, wow, like really. And there's so much in this for me, and for all of us, that I'd never heard before. And I've heard you speak so many of those stories before, but I'd never heard any of them before at all. So I just want to say thank you and thank you for offering this. I'm just really touched and feeling very grateful right now.
Yes, thank you. Kush, thank you for all the people that you put into the London event and everything you're doing in India. And you'll be able to see how much your family is blessed by you loving and serving other people. There is no not connectedness, good or bad. You're putting that energy into the universe out of who you're being. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Let me say something while you're here. I want you to know that as I've watched Kush operate, and I've coached him over the last year, and we have an agreement going into the future. I've seen his magnificence. And I like to read. Like Rebecca told you, Rebecca's going to send me children's books so I can understand things. But I read about world leaders, and one of my favorite leaders is Mahatma Gandhi. And I told Kush, I said, I don't know what he was really like, but I'm thinking he was a lot like you. And I said to Kush, the impact that Mahatma Gandhi had on the world, on India, you'll have on the world. And that's who Kush is to me. Call him MG for modern Gandhi. And that's how he operates. And I love him. We'll have someone else in the room. And these are celebrity. That's a great person. The celebrity in the room is the being that's sitting there that came to be there. That would be me. That would be you. Not somebody better than another. But just so you know, there will be a man of Indian descent that will be in that room who's read the book, highly committed, who will be a prime minister of England. He'll be in the room. You have a person on this screen right now, if you look around closer, you'll be able to see, has committed to take the distinction of being, the book of being, entitled The Ultimate Coach, to all the indigenous people of the world. All the people who look like she does, and spill over into the ones that look goofy like me that are white. And I love that about her. So those are kind of what we have in the room. Then we have you guys. And if I start talking about that, that's where we go for a long time. There's Mike Coates is sitting right there. I'm not exaggerating to say he's the best father I've ever seen in my life. What he's doing with his children, his 4 children all have documents. I've had 3 of his 4 children in a coaching session with me, as young as 6. Heck, most people won't let their kids hang around me. The guy actually paid to have him in my office. He's amazing what he does as a spiritual leader. He's helping with the thing in Michigan. Can you hear that? This who's in the room? We want, and we could have. It could be the guy who's a custodian at the hotel. Could be in the room. I'll tell you who I want to sit next to me is I want the guy who's been working on the website, done all sorts of stuff. I don't need some fancy person sitting next to me. The fancy person I want is like when I was in London. I sat with AJ, who was 7. He's now my godson. I never met him. I'm in love with him. I love his mom, Simona. This isn't the celebrity in the room is you. The celebrity in the room is the other person. Can I call on these hands, Ranjan? Is that okay? Okay, he's not here. Judy. I've never done one of these before. That's the first time I've ever called on somebody. Woo! Go ahead, Judy.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for inviting me. Been such an honor. I'm not the same person than from we first began this meeting. So just an honor to be here with all of you. If I can share, when I created the ultimate experience in Arizona, I had 2 intentions. I wanted to love and serve every person that walked in that door. And this was a big undertaking. This is not what I do. You know, we sold it out, 300 people. And every time I'd freak out, or every time I got intimidated, or every time things went haywire, I just went back to the intention of service and love. And whenever I came from that place, everything flowed, every door opened, everything worked out the way it was supposed to. And I, again, am not the same person that when I first started that. And I thank you, Steve, for believing in me and trusting me, empowering me, teaching me how to be a leader. And if I can just say to the Indian team, the commitment to reading the book, I didn't understand it at first. I didn't understand the magnitude. Out of 300 people, the next day after the event, I got a phone call from a woman demanding her money back. Okay, 299 people praising how incredible the event. The one person called me and said, what was that event? You know, it's like being at somebody's retirement party. I want my money back, right? And so I asked her a question. Did you read the book? Oh, I got busy. I started it, but I didn't finish it. I said, okay, I'll return your money. So this idea of people being committed when they come in, it's not for us, it's for them. It does them a disservice. And so I just want to say, Indian team and everyone else here, I love you. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I would like to say a special acknowledgement. This is Jacob right here. This is my son, Jacob Thurston. That would not, ultimate experience wouldn't have happened without him. Meeting Steve would not have happened without him. And he's guiding all of us, and he is helping transform lives. I love you all.
Will you excuse me 1 second before you go?
Love you, Judy. Love you so much.
On my closet door to the left, there's a hat that's got Jacob on it. It's pink.
Love you, Judy.
I love you, Judy.
First left. Judy, thank you for everything you did there, and thank you for what you did to help in London, and thank you for what you're doing in India. It's amazing what we can do. You know, if I have anybody that I know lives in India, and I can just barely meet him, I create the book and I create the event for someone that could be there. So we can do stuff across the ocean in different places, and we can do it right in India. But there isn't. It's the pink one. It's got a face on it. Yeah, it's up above. This is in honor of Jacob. Excuse me, folks. The Jacob's been in my life since I met Judy. She gave me a book that she wrote. That's it. That's the one. Thank you. That's Jacob right there. Thank you for all that you've done, Judy. Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for being a product of being. See, being a product of being. It's like I get to choose who I'm being. And when I don't choose very well and I'm being obnoxious, I go clean it up because I'm the one who chose it. Thank you, Judy. I love you. Thank you, Jacob. Do I pronounce it Yayate?
Yayati. Yeah.
I love you, and thank you for inviting me to your wedding some years ago.
And thank you for being there in spirit. I really share that story with a lot of people. And whenever I remember it, I'm just so happy and I feel blessed to be connected to you and to know you and to just be with you. So I like to share my experience of what I got right now is thank you for sharing who you were right now on this call. I saw the reason why I was not able to enroll people. It was because I wanted them to be a participant at the event and I was not making it about them. I was not doing it for love. I was not doing it for service. I was just doing it because, okay, we as the Indian creation team, we have put up an event and we want people there. And that's who I was being. And that's why I guess I had the struggle. I was struggling and I'm confessing it in front of everyone. And I don't mind.
Your wife just got an upgraded husband.
Yes.
What you saw. Your clients just got an upgraded person they work with.
Yes.
Your children just got an upgrade. Your grandchildren that you don't have got an upgrade today from you seeing that. That's amazing. Yeah. The event, if someone talks to me, the event is about you.
Mm.
And it's going to be about you contributing with us. You're going to be helping us with the money we're donating. The event's going to be about you. That's not some spoogy thing. That's the reality of it. When they get that, you know, there's one person we wanted to give free tickets to. If she read the book and understood she would just die to get in the room. She'd sit in the custodial closet. But somebody who didn't will then, you know, do what they do. That's us. Thank you. Did you have more you want to say?
Yes. When you said that I am being available right now, I've always wanted to ask this question to you. And you've always demonstrated this, you being love and you being caring and you being of service. But somehow I still don't get, like, let's say I get off this call. How do I be love and service tomorrow morning when I wake up, how do I be love and service? You said you don't have a to-do list, but then I don't get that distinction yet. Like, how do I be
I
love?
don't have a to-do list that runs me. My be list, who I'm being creates a list that just I flow from one to the other. They're so smooth. I can do them faster than I can write them down. So what you may want to look at is seeing that if you begin speaking, I love me and I love others. And anytime you got any blank space, you could start with that. This isn't a light switch that you turn on and off. It's a dimmer switch that you keep working with. So notice where you have judgments on other people, where you don't love them. So you can say, I love people. Then you judge the hell out of somebody. Then it's really tough.
Yes.
I'll give something to you. If you promise me, you'll go do it.
Absolutely.
I want you to get the book called The Gentle Art of Blessing by Pierre Petrevond. And I want you to apply it to you and then apply it to everyone. It will help you with what you just said and asked. So I'm not looking to judge people. I'm looking to bless them. So if, say I go into a restaurant and I start having an idea that she's a lot heavier than she should be, and I don't know why she's got her face all tattooed up and all of that, I stop it. And I send blessings to her. First one is, bless my heart, I can be gentle with her. Bless me, I have a conversation that will make a difference in her life. Bless her that she can understand I'm not a freak and I'm going to love her. Bless her that before I go from this place, I'm going to actually hold her and hug her and tell her I appreciate her being alive. Your GPS runs you. What are you saying there? Will you get the book, The Gentle Art of Blessing, read it and apply it to you?
Yes, I will.
Anything else you want to say?
Get it today itself.
Okay. Anything else?
Steve, we have Mike. Okay. Yayati, do you have something else?
Yes, just learn one last thing. When you said that, Steve, I feel that, yes, I say that I love people, but I judge more.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I needed. And thank you so much. I will do exactly as you've suggested me to do things.
Most excellent. Thank you. Cordelia.
Steve, I just want to say I'm so grateful that you created the space today and you invited me in, even though I haven't been active to enroll for the India event. I feel my heart is leaping now to serve in this way. So I will do what I can to serve and start enrolling people for India as well. And this, I love how you encourage us to listen deeply from a place of love and I'm going to say true intention of just being the most excellent state of being that we can. And I love that invitation. And this time with everyone here has blessed me deeply. So thank you.
Thank you, Cordelia. Mike?
Steve, thank you. Thank you for setting this up and inviting me. There's a lot of love and energy on this Zoom. Just wanted to share what my experience of this was, that the words you said were brilliant and you used a lot of them. And there was a whole nother message that was well beyond the words and what you shared in the last hour. This was my experience, is that the energetic flow that came beneath the word and everything that you said is, at some point I heard you saying them and I felt the energy flow through all of us, the light expand. And so what I see in that is that as I'm deepening my own practice with my state of being, it's all about the energy of where I'm coming from. And that just illumined it at a whole nother level as I look at each of you and I feel each of you and I'm with each of you. Thank you. I love you. I love each of you. Thank you for today.
Thank you, Mike. I'm going to say something if I could, Ranjan. Is that okay?
Yes, Steve.
So Um, many of you know Chris Doris, or you've heard of Chris Doris. He's the guy on TBOL NFL that plays Deuce Latu, and I kind of rough him up on the stage. He did something really, really interesting. He invited like 30 friends to a party, and I didn't know he was doing this. He invited 30 friends to a party, and there was only 2 that I knew in the room. Alan Thompson was with me, and I knew Chris. And at the middle of this football game, he stands up and starts talking about this book that's going to alter people's lives if they read it. And then on cue, 2 kids bring out this book, and he gives it to everybody in the room. And then he asked me, he says, Steve, you want to say anything about this? None of this was, I didn't know any of this was going to happen. And so I got up, and of course, you know, I instruct them how to read it, because getting them into their being is it. And then I said to them, I promised them this: if you'll read the book the way I've suggested, this will alter everything in your life. And when you're through reading it, there'll only be one person that would ever have to sign this book for you, because it would be the person that altered your being. I didn't sign a book in that room. In London, there were 500 people. I didn't sign a book in London. Not one single book. In India, if I was in India right now, here's what I'd say to everyone. And don't warn them, I'm not going to do this, but I just, so you get it, you'll get it. That's all that needs to be gotten. You get it because you're running the thing. Is I would say, how many of you read this book, read back, front cover, the front 2, and been through, and you altered your state of being? They would stand up. The ones that were convicted to do that will do that. The only ones who won't, somebody didn't ask them to do that. How are they going to do it themselves? Hey, I think I'll read the back, cover that in the front, and really get this about me. You're going to have to create that. Otherwise, they're going to take the being that they are to the book. So they're going to stand up. They'll just say 500, 1,000, 7,000, 100,000, or 12. Doesn't matter. And say, if you really, really felt like that you altered your being by reading this book, there's only one person on this planet that should sign this book. Guess who that is?
You?
You, the person who read it and altered the being. And I had people in London come up, and I said, you know, I'm not about signing books. I don't. You got to be the one who really acknowledges you. That's how serious I am about this being about the person. Does anyone else want? Oh, Becky, I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
sorry,
Keep it.
I don't mean to run it. You can have that. You were gone, and I was just trying to help. It was kind of fun. That's the first time I've ever done that.
I just thank you. This has been wonderful. I really, I mean, anytime I can sit at the feet of the master, you know how I feel about that. 2 things I wanted to say is that reading, reading the book and also listening to the book on Audible. I do that all the time in my car, and I hear something. I know we're saying listening for the first time, but I hear the tiniest distinction that turns into like for the rest of my day. And I just encourage that. And the other thing is the chapter on your document. I mean, it's a big thing to do a document, and it's not a small practice to do it, but it is such a benefit to do it. And I listen to the recording of my document in the morning and again at night. And sometimes during the day, I'll mix them all up in my head. You know, this one supports that one and that point supports that. And I just encourage everyone who's here to go read that document chapter, because then it's easy to come from that state of being when it's just top of mind like that.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you so much, Becky. Steve?
Looks like we have 2 hands up.
We have Rani, and I think Gabby also wanted to speak something. And then we have Ben Buckley.
Yes.
So Rani, you can go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Steve.
Hello.
I just feel so blessed to be part of this. So thank you, Ranjan, for inviting me. And I'm originally from India, and I'm in the UK, and I attended the Ultimate Experience London edition. But if I were to put my hands on heart, although I read the book, I don't think I really read it about me. That's being very, very honest. And I got something out of it, but it was, my level of being was still very low. And I think I'm feeling all kinds of feelings right now. But earlier today, I had a coaching session with Ankush, and we talked about the document, and he took me through a very powerful exercise, and I had this one, and it just reinforces that my time has come. It's like justice, and knowing that I'm also going to Mumbai and I'm having those conversations with people and enrolling. It just feels like I'm so blessed to be here, and I just wanted to acknowledge me by saying this, because I was sitting here with my mic all the time, because I think, gosh, all these amazing people here, what on earth am I doing here? And I just thought, let me just put my hand out there and say I acknowledge myself for what I see, what I'm hearing. And then I'm also I'm reading the book a second time, and I'm going to read it twice before I go to Mumbai, and that's my word for me, and also for the people of India and for the world. But thank you everyone for being part of this and allowing me to be part of this, and especially Ranjan and Ankush, and obviously Steve and everyone.
Thank
I'd
you
like to
so
say
much,
something.
Ram.
I'd like to say something to her. We've been on the phone. I want to tell you what an amazing human being she is. I don't remember how we first communicated. I have a lot of communication, so I don't remember what starts them, but we were on the phone one day, and she was asking me if I would do something. And, people ask me to do things. And I'm not against helping. I'm not against a podcast or that, but it's just not what I'm up to. So the thing that she asked me to do, I said, well, tell me who's going to be in this thing. And then I committed her that if she had all of her people read this book, then she could call me back and we'd have a conversation about whether I could do what she asked me. She did all that. Did you have 5 or 6 other people?
I'm not sure it was me, Steve, you're thinking about.
Oh, well, then I have someone with your first name so
Maybe
let me
Rain,
acknowledge
maybe
her, and
Rain.
she's not here.
Maybe
So
Rain.
no, it's Rani and has an accent. So this person then had 5 people read the book completely, called me back and said, we've got it all done. I said, I'm in. Then she wrote me back and says, wow, you really are your word. And I thought that was you. So I'm looking at that as you. So you're getting acknowledged for her. Thanks for representing her today.
Thank you. But we did communicate, and we had some conversations, which I remember.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes. I don't think there's anybody here I haven't spoken to personally.
Ben, would you like to speak?
Yes. Yeah, I just want to just thank you for the invitation. Thank you for being here amongst all of you. And I think what I love about today, and I remember you explaining this to me before, that you don't teach people, but you create a space where people can listen, like what Mike was saying. Beyond the words that you are saying, we can hear inside the truth that kind of sets us free. And you started by saying, master your being, that we're in control. And as you said it, I mean, just the very first word you virtually spoke, everything began to shift, because I began to realize for me, because I could share some insights that I wrote down, but for me personally, I began to see that being enables me to not be controlled by the things on the outside. It's very easy to allow circumstances, finances, the things that people say, do, all of the challenges that we face every day to shackle us or to shut down what we hear inside, that voice that speaks to us of what we can be, what we can do, of how we can transform and love. And it can shut us down. But as you were speaking, I'm beginning to see for myself how I can just remove those limits, remove the ability of the things on the outside to shackle us on the inside. It was almost like you could put me in chains on the outside, but I'm completely free if I'm in a place of being. Yes. And I began to see, as you were talking, just so many things, even just a number of things that I thought I was doing it because I spoke to you before, and there was a transformation. And now I'm just beginning to see a number of things that I could do or I could be, that I was kind of allowing something else to kind of go, oh no, you can't, you can only do this. So every time I'm listening to this, and I've heard that you share these things before, but it's just expanding what I can be, what I can do in terms of love, not in terms of anything else, in terms of not judging, in terms of not limiting what I could be or couldn't be, or looking at things on the outside, but allowing to listen to that voice on the inside that tells you that you can love, that you can be all that you can be. So I'm just really grateful to be here. And I just think the space that you create that enables people to listen, just teaching me how to listen, teaching people how to hear, not what's being spoken, but hear inside that truth that really sets us free, that removes the limits and just enlarges that capacity to love, to get past the judgment. And I'm guilty of it. There's so many things as I'm saying, okay, if I just remove that limitation, then it enlarges who I could be. Or if I just get rid of attaching to that thought, or just realize that I'm actually in control when I connect to being, not control trying to out external, I mean inside, of just being free in that place of being. So I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you to you, Steve, and to every person here, who every single person in this room. So many of you have really helped me and served me and loved me, and I'm just really grateful for that. So thank you.
Ben, you are the miracle in Mumbai.
Yes, Steve, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Fiona?
I think Farah was ahead of me.
Oh, yeah.
You'd
Sorry.
like to go, Farah?
Yeah. Farah.
Thank you, Fiona. Thank you, Steve. Oh my God. I have a to-be list that I'm going to start. I'm not for to-do lists so much, but just that possibility of creating a to-be list is exciting me. And so, of course, I want to say thank you to everyone here, because I just find that today what I'm taking is a lot of possibilities of who I want to be when I'm enrolling people. And I want to acknowledge Angie, because I had a conversation with her, I think yesterday or the day before. And there was this question that I had: how do I share what this experience would look like, on that day? So where I was limiting myself was, I've not had that experience. So how can I actually bring that alive? Maybe it's someone who's attended another event. So I was in that, that was one of the blocks that I had. And I realized that, and I was telling that to myself. That's the beautiful and disempowering story. And I spoke to, we had a conversation, and Angie actually didn't have to tell me what the experience was, but the way she spoke about it, like in her interviews, that she can guarantee you that this will change your life. And the way she actually said that, and I felt it. And I'm listening to you today, and I think it all happens from who I'm being and who I'm choosing to be as I read the book. As I read the book again before I see all of you on the 25th, and who I'm going to be is completely different. So I just want to say that, yeah, I find that those possibilities have expanded about, who I want to be when I'm actually talking to somebody about what this beautiful experience is like. So just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Farah. Fiona?
Thank you, Ranjan. Firstly, Ranjan, thank you. There are some messes I need to clean up. And one of them is with you, Ranjan. And I would like to publicly clean that up, but privately, I think, would be the space for that. Thank you, Steve, for bringing me back to love. And I think that's all I have to say.
I love you, Fiona. Thank you.
Love you, Fiona. Love you so much. Love you. Love you. Love you so much, Fiona. I love you. I love you, Fiona.
Thank you, Ranjan. I love you.
I love you.
Ranjan, you are the miracle in Mumbai. Fiona, you are the miracle.
Love you, Steve. Love you. Venu?
So, thank you, everyone. So, it's a first time live experience for me listening to Steve live. So, me and Farah on the same page that what is the experience in Mumbai, because it's not the content, it's not the agenda, it's about being. And so how do I communicate that? So I had an idea, but it's not in my experience today. And Steve is speaking, so I could feel that. So and one line that it's not here to there. That's what everyone is preaching in the world, that here to there. So, and he is master in bringing from there to here. We could experience that. That's happening live here. Every time we listen to Steve, that happens again. Not only listen to him, every time we read the book. So this reminded me that that maybe every time we can read a chapter, but reading back page and first 2 pages can bring that magic, bringing from there to here. So it takes such a second or a few seconds to get into our being. So thank you, Steve. Thank you so much.
Bob, do you want to say anything?
Thank you. I love each of you. Thanks for this beautiful gift this morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Bob. Steve, thank you so much. Love you so much.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for all what you've done. Ranjan, thank you. Ranjan, thank you for leading us. And thank the rest of you for making him a great leader.
Thank you so much.
Being that.
And Steve, thank you so much for this space. Ankush, thank you so much. Fiona, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you so much. And I am committed. I'm committed to be 2 things, unless Judy has the copyright to that: love and service. And I am committed to be that. And there are 3 people I would actually love to say again, I love you. Ben, I love you. Rebecca, I love you. Fiona, I love you. I love you. I love you, Steve.
What he just did, that's beautiful.
I love you. Thank you so much. Jacob, thank you so much. Judy, thank you so much. Love you all. Love you all. Bye-bye.
See you in Mumbai. You are all the miracle of Mumbai. Love you.
Love
Love
you.
you, Steve. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Ronak.